Hi, Mark Strong, District 41, the Bluffdale Riverton area of the state. And House Bill 342 is it's a bill that's intended to create some truth in taxation. Frequently we have cities and counties and even states to some extent that are trying to compete with the private market. So the intent of the bill is to, if you're going to compete, and the easiest example that I can think of is a rec center, a city or a county rec center. Well, for example, in my city of Riverton, we have a Vasa that would be very close to the city offices, and there's a 24-hour fitness, and then there's a couple of county clubs not too far away, and these sort of things. So the intent is to say, hey, if you're going to compete with the public, it needs to be in a very open manner. We need to know what other private companies, businesses might be affected. And then truth in taxation, say, hey, here's how we are subsidized where someone else isn't. So that's really the intent behind 342. With the bill, a city can still build a recreation center. In fact, I think of an example of a more rural county or city where there's a smaller population, and a health center really might be cost prohibitive for a private place, and a county might decide we want to build something there. Okay, great, just let them know, and maybe there's very little to no competitive problem with that with a local business, but hey, let's just make it known that the cost, and really when you think about that, somebody goes and uses this facility, they're going to pay a fee, but everybody in that community pays the fee as a fee in their taxes. And so everyone's paying that, but only certain people will actually pay the additional fee to go use the facility. So to some extent, it's kind of a double taxation on some levels, or it's a single taxation where they're not using the benefit. So, or using they're not benefiting from it because they don't join the club for whatever reason. Well, it's all about proper role of government. I heard it said, and this is a little bit out of date, but I was in a tax meeting a couple years back, and I heard this guy, he was from Indiana, as I recall, and they had really made some big restructures on their tax code and how they did things, and he basically said, if you can't find it in the yellow pages, or if you can find it in the yellow pages, the government shouldn't be doing it. And it goes back to that. Now, today we really don't use yellow pages like we used to, but if you can do a search on Google and it says, oh, hey, here's a health club, or here's whatever this service is, if it's available privately, why are we providing it as a government? We really should keep those separate as much as possible. So.